I'm going to do something different in this video. I'm going to share my love of physical media. There's many reasons why I do collect physical media. One is I do have an addictive personality, and the thing about addictions in general, it's not like a truly negative addiction. It's just I know my temperament, I know my personality. Most people they don't take a recognition of their tendencies. So it's hard to control and stem things. You'll find some people with their addictions, it goes an incredible bad way, where they're feeding the body things they shouldn't even be near, and um, sort of abusing themselves really. And there's like no self of control, no sense of control. Whereas I do things in a way that I consider healthy enough. It's not a problem. It's not hurting anybody. But I recognised a long time ago, really, especially when it come to gaming and things, I couldn't switch off. Now I can because I recognise it's more about balance. Enjoy multiple things rather than obsess with one. And that's healing to myself. Um, but yeah, I've always got a collective mind. So if I'm not focusing on collecting one thing, I'm collecting something else. And again, it's not hurting anyone, but it's important that I take ownership of it and recognise that there has to be a limit. So sort of cap it to a degree and don't make it so you're always struggling, if you like, financially because of it. So there is those things, and again, that's part of the growth. That's part of the growth. So someone might see me spending money on one thing or the other, and they might think that's a waste of money, or you can't control yourself. So I can control myself, and I know why I'm doing it, and I know I want it, and I do it in moderation. And sometimes I do make myself actually wait a while for that specific item. But yeah, like I say, if I'm not collecting this though, then my mind will be collecting something else. My mum used to collect stamps. She's got a stamp book. I've got that somewhere. Actually, I could probably show an example of it. Wait a minute. Probably should have prepared a bit better for this one. Yeah, she's got this stamp book. Oh, I've got a green screen on, so it's going to bang. But these are from different countries. This one says Czechoslovakia. I've seen there was some from Poland. You got some from Netherlands, Holland. Um, She did say someone in the family stole one from her, and it was a penny black or something worth a lot of money. This is India. And then we've also got UK, and I was actually interested by the UK because it looked like it had King Edward. I'm guessing it's King Edward. I might be wrong though, so I'm not going to sort of say it is King Edward, but I just thought that's quite interesting. South Arabian, Spain. I'm not going to go too deep into this. I've even got United States of America, 1963. Got all sorts, really. Statue of Liberty. You've got even Kennedy. I mean, if it's even a Churchill one at the bottom, I didn't even notice. Let's see if we can get that on camera. Churchill one at the bottom there. Churchill. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And like I say, there's the UK ones as well. That's not my thing. That's not my thing, and I don't think she really cares too much about it now. But that's the point, though. If you're not collecting one thing, maybe you'd be focused on collecting something else. It's not hurting anybody. But I just want to share my love, really, of physical media and the reason why. So, like, we've established there's a if I'm not buying that, I'm buying something else. I've got a huge library of digital games. Games I'll own forever. I have some physical ones as well on disc and things. But that does get actually expensive, and I have a recognition of that. And a lot of the time, it's just collecting and gathering dust to a degree. Like, you don't really go replay them. Movies I replay. Movies I like. That's part of why I like collecting movies and TV shows, because I will actually enjoy them. They won't just gather dust for long periods of time. And how big the collection is, they will get seen again. So I think personally, like, when you consider the cost of an item, I just think by the time I've consumed that item once, that's already had its value, because the items are not particularly expensive individually. Like an episode of a TV show, or when there's so many to a season, you start breaking it down. It didn't cost a lot to watch that. A movie, it's like it's paid for itself in the equivalent of a cinema ticket or a digital purchase. So after that, every time I watch it, I'm watching it for free, is the way I see it. So that's positive to me. There's another side that is preservation and nostalgia. So there's a nostalgic feeling to things. That I don't like the fact that things get lost to history. Like it gets where there's no recollection of it. There's no physical, tangible product anymore, and I find that alarming. So I've personally, VHS tapes I threw a lot away when I relocated 5 years ago. It irritates me even to this day when I think about it now, because I'm still trying to figure out which ones I lost, and it's like, that's not good. That's not good, because there was a period where a lot of people were doing the same things, but now I'm absolutely attached to the idea of preserving them. So that for me is more of a hobby, like a pet project. Doesn't mean I'm gonna watch VHS tapes far less than I'm gonna enjoy Blu-rays and DVDs, purely for convenience, better quality. But there is a nostalgic element, and I do enjoy watching the old tapes sometimes. But there is a risk that the videotape, the VCR, chews the tapes up. That's the only worry, and you just don't want to kill a tape. That makes me a little bit nervous. So there is that side of things, of course. But I love the artwork on VHS tapes. I love how they just stand perfectly in the collection. I think from an aesthetic point of view, I think they look better than in DVDs and Blu-rays. I think they're great. I think they stand the test of time. And like I say, with VHS tapes, if we can just get that one up, actually, I'm just going to switch over to the picture. With VHS tapes, I think part of what really allures me to it, attracts me, is the fact that it's not something you can just pick in a shop. You know, like you can go into even a charity shop or a used second-hand place where they do, trade-ins and things, or even buy online. You can get DVDs and Blu-rays with relative ease. It's just they're attainable everywhere. But VHS tapes, you're going to either have to go eBay, sort of places like that, online auction places, boot sales. I don't know. It's charity shops. But it's going to be really, really rare, especially to find quality videos, because you even on eBay you're going to come across an awful lot of rubbish. Really, there's a lot of, because VHS tapes a huge period of time before DVDs. So then you start thinking of that big nostalgic movies or TV shows, and you're thinking, I want that on video. So as you can see in my image, some of them are incredibly rare. Some people might not even know about. I remember watching the film Michael, about an angel, in the mid-90s. I went with my family to the cinema. We watched Michael, and I think we also went and watched Phenomenon. Phenomenon is the one with a bigger reputation for some reason. Michael in the UK, I don't know about America, but Michael never came to DVD or Blu-ray. You can buy it digitally on Prime, which is great. But there's never a physical copy. So the only way you can have a physical copy in the UK is import a Blu-ray, because I've seen that on Amazon, or VHS. So I grabbed the VHS as soon as I found it. That was like one of the ones I'm definitely getting. Then I've collected some of the more rare ones because I didn't realize they were rare, and the prices are just going crazy. And one of them's Beetlejuice. That's getting harder to find. Both Gremlins movies, 1 and 2. I've got Ghostbusters. I still need to collect Ghostbusters 2. Indian in the Cupboard, Waterworld. You can see them all at the top there. For me, these are iconic films, and they're nostalgic, but also they're becoming rare. So, like, if I was collecting, for instance, in about 5 years' time, there's no guarantee I'm going to be able to get these films. And especially at a reasonable price. I haven't paid a lot, and it's like I've got them at a great price, but it's not even the price at this point. It's the fact that I own them. It's reached that point where I own them, and I've got a piece of history, and I freaking love that. Like, I feel more protective of those than I do of the DVD Blu-ray, because you can just buy another Blu-ray. Blu-ray, maybe it cost me more money. I don't know. I can't remember the pricing. I think most of the top ones on the VHS range from about £5 to £15 potentially. And in some, I got fortunate. You buy a box full of VHS tapes on eBay, hope they work, and sometimes they come with a load of rubbish contained within good ones, and they're quite cheap. So you grab them and you start to build your collection up, and you get some absolute bangers, some classics. And again, if someone ever gets nostalgic in the future and they think, I really want to start collecting videos, you might not be able to. That's the problem. It's like you might not be able to, because the reality is, with VHS, for instance, it's the same with other mediums in the past, like formats. They're not produced anymore. So if one day you think to yourself, I really want to get that film, it's like there's no guarantee it's available, let alone the price of it, because a lot of people just threw them out. So how many are in circulation in the world, Especially the UK. Like, I think, from my understanding, UK format is different to American format in the fact that America do NTSC, and we've got PAL in the UK. From my understanding, I think they run at different speeds. So an American video cassette, VHS video, won't work in a UK VCR. You'd have to buy an American VCR, but then that's the whole process. I actually prefer UK videos to Americans, because Americans have those paper cardboard sleeves which don't really protect the movie. They don't protect the movie itself, but also they say they degrade so easily because they're like a few knocks and it's scuffed. Whereas the UK, we had plastic cases and they stand up better. and they're more durable, and they also protect your tape. I don't know why it is like that, the differences, but I actually prefer the UK version to the American. So there is that understanding too. Now, what you can see there, I think is quite apparent, is that these VHS tapes are bulky. So if you've got shelf space, you're going to get an awful lot more Blu-rays, DVDs in your shelf per space than you will VHS. So that means you've got to be selective of, really, I think, the films you're collecting and how you're going to display them, because it's impossible. It really is. I've got more on display, which I'm going to do a video later on my social media on TikTok, of other surplus VHS tapes I've got. I wouldn't call them necessarily surplus, but they're not prominent, if you like, more prominent in my collection. But it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means I've got shelf space. I can't, so I might do the ones I've got there, because I bought a box bundle and there were certain films I wanted in the box bundle, so I got it and it was cheap. And within that, it came with about 8 Princess Diana VHS tapes, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't really need them. But then it's like, wait a minute, that's nostalgic. It could be a collector's item either now or in the future. And of course, the further into the future you go, the more rare it becomes. Of course, people might not be interested because they might even have access to it because they haven't even got a VCR. But there is that side of things. It becomes rarer. And I think that's something worth holding on to. And did any of them ever transition over to other formats like DVD, digital, Blu-ray, all those things? I wouldn't have thought so. Why would they, So maybe I'm holding on to something that's becoming rarer into the future, And it's not like I went out my way to buy all these Diana videos. They were just part of a collection, and that's the beauty of collecting, So yeah, I've got a collective mindset, but there's something deeply personal to it, in the sense that I really do feel attached to preserving history, because, like I just said, it's like one day it might be forgotten, and one day there might not be many examples of it. So I want to own them myself. I want to have that, because I think it comes. That's why I said nostalgia at the beginning as well. Like, I was born in the early '80s, but the biggest time period I can remember is the '90s. Because that's when my teenage years were. That's where you like remembering things a bit deeper. So like, I'm more fond of the '90s period. In the '90s period, it was that transition from VHS to DVD, and in the 2000s, I think it was. Then we started getting the Blu-rays, but before that was really getting CDs and VHS, and then DVDs, and then we started getting some digital content. And of course, once DVD came out, I was one of the first jumping on that. The first widescreen CRT TVs, the bulky tellies that first went widescreen, I was jumping on that. So I do love and embrace new technologies, but then there's this nostalgic side that just attracts back to the past too. So, for instance, with my collection, my telly doesn't have a SCART socket. So back in the day, you'd have SCART sockets running. They're really bulky things and annoying. And you need that to connect your VCR. So I had to buy an adapter from Amazon where you put it's a SCART to HDMI. So it actually upscales your image. So effectively, it's better quality image than it would have been through its traditional ports. So that's a benefit too. But there are drawbacks to VHS tapes. For instance, the sound. If it gets choppy, for instance, if there's a corruption in the tape itself, like whether it's a bit mangled or whatever, or there's just degradation, it is annoying because the sound can be terrible. So not a little bit terrible, like really badly terrible. It would be really, really loud. And sometimes I like to connect Bluetooth headphones to the telly if I'm on my own. Like, it blocks out the noise around me, but also it actually amplifies the movie, so I can really hear it. And it's like, that's great. It's like surround sound in your head. But of course, if you had a VHS tape playing, that's really going, that's going to hurt your ears. The other side, of course, is if you're getting that problem, you're probably going to get a problem with the visuals. So you start getting lines all over it. So there are drawbacks, and of course, it can chew tapes up. But when it works, it's beautiful. It's retro. So, for instance, I've got Home Alone 1 and 2 on VHS, and I really like watching them. But I also have them on DVD. And my daughter, who's a teenager, doesn't really like me going. She's starting to appreciate, I think, the idea of VHS. She said it to me recently. She thinks it's cool, but she prefers to watch the better quality of the newer technologies. And I get that, but sometimes it's like, Home Alone came out back in the day when VHS was around. Like, that's its purest form in my sense. Like, that's part of it. So it's not just about preservation. It's enjoying it in its original medium, but still appreciating the higher quality now and clarity. Great, I enjoy all that too, and I love watching things like as sharp as it can be. But I do find there's this it's like this reminiscent, nostalgic feeling towards the past. Like, how was it originally delivered? You know, so even if I wasn't brought up in that era, I've got no doubt that I would still look back and wonder what it was like when it released. So I don't think you have to be born in those periods to appreciate it. I think even if you're born later, I think you can appreciate the fact that that's how it released, and I would like to see it in its raw form. So to go full circle with this, I still want to get myself the old-fashioned tellies, a CRT TV. I don't even know where I would put it, but I desperately want one for retro gaming to a degree, but also to watch VHS tapes in its purest form. That'd be cool. Even though it obviously wouldn't be upscaled, but the smaller screen, for instance, would the pixel density drops, doesn't it? It's easier. It'll be more clear. Yeah. So there is that side element of things. So what I'm going to do, just play this just briefly. Let me just play it. Put it on. Oh, I don't know if it's this one we want. We probably want this one. So this is me just showcasing briefly my collection. I've got quite a lot of films. I've got games. I've got a lot of films and a lot of TV series and things. And this is just as part of it. It's only what I can show, you know. But like I say, I don't collect just to collect. I collect to enjoy. Like, for instance, I went for a feeling of just like I want to watch Star Wars. I felt like watching it. I've never liked Star Wars my whole life. It's always been too busy and chaotic to me. But I've always wanted to try and enjoy it just because it's such a cult following. There must be something about it I'm missing. But it's so busy and I can't get my head with it. But I fancied watching it, and I haven't got like Disney Plus anymore because I've acquired most of the Disney movies I want. You know, most of the action movies like the Pirates of the Caribbean and things that would make you go, I need to stay subscribed because I want to watch this. So inherently, my mind goes, right, I need to buy them. Like, for instance, I kept Netflix for so long just because I like watching Big Bang Theory, but I've got that on DVD anyway, and it's on Prime now. I don't want to digress too far, but I do like Prime Video because it comes with. Like, you subscribe to Prime and you get access to music, you get access to some free video games each month, you can borrow digital books, you've got cloud storage for your photos, you've got the video streaming content, and you've also got like your deliveries. And I think they also do a cinema thing now, it's 2 for £10, but that's a bonus. I don't use that personally, but the thing is, for a set price you get a lot, whereas with the other ones like Netflix and Disney, it's not, and then they start throwing the adverts at you. You can't account share. It's like the content's regurgitated. I'm bored of it. So whatever I needed on them platforms, I've tried my best to just replicate and buy myself. So now I don't have to subscribe. Because if with Prime, I would always subscribe anyway for the other features, you know, specifically the delivery. So it's not costing more for that. Then I paid the extra $2.99 just to avoid the adverts because I think Prime's cheap enough as it is compared to the others. Anyway. Don't want to digress too far, just to show that I do have a subscription service, but it's one that's actually very calculatedly chosen. So I don't want to subscribe to Disney Plus, but I want to watch Star Wars. So I bought this box set, cheap as anything. I can't remember what I paid now. I don't think it was £20. I can't remember what I paid now. I can't remember. It may have been. I don't know. I can't remember what I paid. I don't think it was that much. But it comes with 6 films. So it comes with the original 3. So that's 4, 5, 6. That's how they released. I think, was it right? 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. And then it has the ones that come after, so Phantom Menace and the other 2. And then I went out and bought the separate ones, even though I hadn't even watched them yet. But I've sat down yesterday. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I collect, but I actually consume the content too. So like literally, yeah, I've been away for a bit at my mum's, and I come home and I was like, I really do want to sit down and try and get into Star Wars. So I put. Is it A New Hope, the first one? And by the end of the film, I thought I really like this. It reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I like Guardians of the Galaxy. So back in the day, I didn't appreciate it. Now I do. And then I watched the second one, and I really like that. Then I watched the third one, Revenge. Is it Revenge of the Jedi? I can't remember now. But anyway, Return of the Jedi. But I didn't like that one as much as the first 2. That's my personal preference. I recognise a lot of people felt the same too. So it's not like it's a bad film. It's just I rated the other 2 5 stars and I gave that one 4. So all of a sudden I've watched them 3. So even if I don't like the other ones after, I know I'm always going to like the first trilogy now. And then I've got all the others to go through. But the point there is I've collected it, but I'm watching it. And it's the same with all my content. I will watch them. Might not watch it. Can't watch them every day. It's too many films. But although I'm collecting, it's not collecting for nothing, you know? It's collecting to enjoy I just want to get something up. I'm just going to have to pause it just briefly. So unfortunately, my camera's going a bit nuts in the background. We have to just put up with that. I did a video recently and I said I'm not going to buy any more physical media because there is a level of, control. I want to get my daughter Christmas presents. It's like it can be a money drain. I've spent a lot over the past month or two. I go through periods, so I might go a month or two blitzing it, getting loads because all of a sudden I just start thinking of a film or a TV show, and I'm like, yeah, I want that in my collection. There's still a handful of films I want in my collection. For instance, I want Top Gun on VHS. There's a few others on VHS that I'm going to make notes of, but I'm not going near them until later in the year or next year. I want Money Train on DVD. I love that. It's a 90s film. I want that. It's not even expensive. But if I get that, it's going to put me into a spiral. My mum recently got me a film in the town because she was in town, and I said, could you try and get that in when you're down there? She goes, well, we can go down there together later if you want, because she was already going down. And I said, no, I can't. That won't be good for me. And she didn't understand it until I explained it. I said, if I go in there, I'm going to come out with more than one film. Like, I know what it's like. I'll just come out with more films. It's like, I've spent enough. I just need that one film. So like, okay, so you could argue there's a level of self-control, but I think there's also a level of understanding. Is that if I really just want to get one film, I would just get one film. But there's a chance I'm just going to get distracted because there's more I want. I'll say, oh, I haven't got that one. I need that. I need that. I need that. Reality is, like as I said, I like to watch and consume what I have. So as much as I need to fill it because it's not there, I'm not going to have time this year to watch it. So then might as well wait. It's not like you can never buy it again. But if they're on VHS, that's a different kettle of fish because I might not see them again. Or I might not see them in that, like, it might be like expensive bundle. It might be expensive on its own. It's like, these are good deals as they stand. So, like I said, I wasn't going to buy any more films. And then I saw this for 50 quid, like in delivered. I think it's £42 plus a £7 delivery or something, so it's £50 delivered. And I had to weigh it up. And that was, for me, it was pushing the limit. It was pushing the limit. But I thought to myself, in all honesty, I've done a lot like searching over time for VHS tapes because, of course, I'm looking. I can't say I've ever seen, I don't know, I could probably Google it. I could probably go on Amazon, eBay and search and probably find it. But how much would it be on its own? How much is it bundled? A lot of time things are about £10 round about that with one film or two films together. By the time they get delivered, sometimes about £8. So a box set, who knows what that's going to cost? And the Rocky one just stood out to me. And I thought, that's pretty cool. I've got it on Blu-ray. So I've got the anthology on Blu-ray, so all 5. I think actually my one includes Balboa as well, so I might have 6. But this one is the original, though, isn't it? It's an original box set. Now, of course, each film would have been individually at the time, but this is a box set, so it's not the exact original. But I like the box sets. I've never been a big fan of Aliens, but I think it'd be a good thing to own. It's a preservation of a piece of cinema history. Like I said, I just got into Star Wars, enjoyed the trilogy, so that'd be cool to watch them in VHS. Now, they're not the original masters of the tapes because it even says, I think, remasters or special edition, and it says widescreen somewhere. But I don't care about that. It's like, that'd be the best version for my current setup. But I think that'd be fun because I've got it on Blu-ray, which is really high quality, and it'd be good to watch it in its raw form too. And I actually enjoy that. The Godfather, I like them 3 films. I haven't watched them in a long time, so that'd be good. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this any clearer, really, but I can't see clearly myself because I'm trying to do it through the video recording. But I remember some of the films. So, like, some of the films are niche in an area that I don't normally buy. But then I'm thinking, are they even available on DVD, Blu-ray? And even if they are, this is pretty cool. So it's a cool box set. It's cost 50 quid, and it's like I said, it was pushing me because it's like, do I want to spend that amount? Because I've had bundles for like £15, and it comes with loads of films. Now it comes with a load of rubbish as well, but it comes with good quality and a good number. And you think that's so. I understand the price per movie, and I understand the price of specific movies sometimes, like because I do a lot of research on eBay and things. I'm just always looking things up, and I'm recognizing some of the films here. You got like Scarface. Like I might find Scarface in a bundle of maybe 8 films somewhere else, and it might cost me 15 quid anyway, or more. So then you're going, wait a minute. I don't need a lot of the others. You're just looking for those. But so when you've got a bundle where it's got a few good films, it's like that's worth maybe getting because it saves you buying a load of bundles of other stuff. So I'm just trying to let me just see if I can get this bigger for myself so I can sort of like go through slightly. Just so you can understand. Look, Shawshank Redemption was on my hit list of films I want to get. Training Day, I thought that was cool. I've got it on DVD, but that's going to be cool to have the original on VHS. I've had these on VHS in the past, It's annoying. I either sold them or threw them. And it's like, that got a chance to re-own them. I think it's important. The Crow, I've not seen The Crow, but I love the art style to it, and I think that'd be cool. Plus, I'll get a chance to watch it. The Thing, I've seen that in the past. That again, I love the art style, the logo there to the side as well. And for sometimes it is aesthetics rather than the movies, and I think that's something, isn't it? Like there's a couple of films there that are, I don't know if you call it classic range, but they're not the best quality of casing because they're like ones that come after. So like you've got Heat there with Goodfellas, and Heat, I have a better quality Heat cover. I have like an original Heat cover, which is far more artistic than that rubbish version there. So there could be duplicates. It may very well be I either keep duplicates because it preserves the tape in case one chews up, which I think makes sense because you're probably not going to get that much for them. Or if I have too many duplicates, it might be worth just making a bundle and selling two, but you don't get a lot of money from at the moment. It's even got Evil Dead 1 and 2, The Shining, Salem's Lot. So these are like Salem's Lot and The Shining are Stephen King, from my understanding. I think it says The Stand in the top corner there. You've got, what's his name? Bruce Lee. There's a Bruce Lee box set as well. Not really my sort of thing, but it doesn't mean I won't watch it. Give it a chance. Training Day. There was a good few couple there. I mean, I've got Saving Private Ryan already, so that's a bit annoying. It's like a duplicate. From Dusk Till Dawn. There was a couple there that I just can't read. Oh yeah, Terminator. That one there next to on the second row, fifth from right. I didn't even know that was the Terminator. So I've bought it, and then I didn't have a clue, and I just thought I'd go through it because I saw most of the other names. Then I went, wait a minute, that's the Terminator. That's pretty cool. I don't know what that's worth on its own. But that's what I'm talking about. You've got these iconic movies, and I'm not going to give away the names of all the films that I want because the list can get quite big anyway, and of course things become rarer. But there are a few films I do still want to get on VHS. Now, you add this lot. So we've got box sets. I need to get a new stand, to be honest. This is a cheap one at the minute, and I'm on my old stand. This one is my old thing. I keep throwing it in hiding it, and then I keep needing to get it back out. But I need to get another stand in the same design as the other ones, and then I can put more VHS tapes on display. But if you look at those ones, for instance, like I say, you've got all these, and I'm going to have to sort them out when they turn up. And then you've got that, so they'll merge, you know. So we'll have the Rocky, we'll have Goodfella, Godfather. It was Godfather, Rocky, Alien. We had Rambo. I can't remember what the other one was. Star Wars. And then some of the other iconic movies. And it'll start moving out some of the, I wouldn't call it fodder, but there's a few films there that maybe I don't really care so much about. I can pull out and make that more of a premium thing. Then I'll get a new shelf and I can make that more it might look like you're in a video store with that premium or very hard to get films. So some of them would be hard to get, or some of them would just be really, really cool. You know, maybe they're not so hard to get, but they're still cool to have in your collection. But I've got some incredibly rare films. There's one there called, I think it's called, I don't know if it's a Simple Plan. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth from the right there. That I found that one to be rare. I didn't know about it at the time. Page Master's one I desperately wanted to get. I've had to repurpose that one because it arrived damaged, and I had another film. You know when you get rubbish films, so I actually took the VHS tapes apart and I put the spool from the Page Master into the cassette. I made the other cassette tape empty and I put the spool in there. So it doesn't say Page Master on the thing, which is annoying on the tape itself, but it is the Page Master and it plays perfectly. So I saved it because I desperately wanted to save that film because I remember that in childhood and it's like, I want that film. And there's some films that just never made it over to DVD and Blu-ray anyway. So there's a real, it's not even just nostalgia at this point. It is preserving history. It is nostalgic to a degree. That there's also a want to have some of the films that just never made it over to other formats, you know. But yeah, so like I say, I've got an addictive mentality. So if I'm not collecting this, I'm collecting video games. If I'm not collecting video games, who knows what I'm collecting, you know? So I'm trying to have an addictive mindset in a positive way. I think that's understanding that. So like I said, other people, maybe they turn to substances and all sorts of shit. You know, I've never been interested in that at all. This is like, so if someone thinks, oh, that's a waste of money, blah, blah, blah. It's like, mate, this is a better way of spending my life than what the other people are doing. It's not hurting anyone. And I truly enjoy it. So I enjoy what I've got. So some people, they might see it as clutter. For me, I absolutely love it. It's like, for me, I feel like it's a cozy space. Like, I really do. I've made lights around it and things, and like, when I'm sitting there, I feel peaceful, and I can just get up and pick a film and put it on, and it's so effortless. You know, you think streaming's easier, but there's convenience once you're on the platform, and it offers you a suggestion of the next film. When you actually want a film, you have to start going on Google to see if it's what streaming service it's on and whether it's even available. By the time you've done that whole process and sort of having to go through the search feature and shit, it was actually quicker just to go and get it off your shelf, because I had signed mine by genre and all sorts of things. I know exactly where the films are. I just go straight over, like, oh, that's it. I know where I'm going. Literally pick it up straight in. And I've got TV shows, I've got movies, you know, I've got Disney, a lot of Disney stuff. Um, got DVD, Blu-ray, VHS. Plus, there's a like music collection. Now, I'm not going to keep going on too far. I'm passionate about what my hobby really. I guess it's a hobby to a degree, but I also like gaming too. But I recognise the cost of gaming is getting more. It's getting expensive, so I'm trying to stem that, to recognise that, do you really need it? Is that value? Is it big enough value to you to do that? Because I wanted to build a new computer, for instance, but that's like a £1,500 upgrade, like, to me to do that. And it's like, I don't know if the value is there. Like, how many games am I genuinely playing right now? How much of an upgrade would it be to my current setup and all these things? And it's like, value for money, it doesn't make sense. So I'm controlling myself constantly with that, because it doesn't make, as much as I want that and I would really like that, it doesn't make sense right now. So, you know, for me, in comparison to that, this is harmless. And this is preserving. So rather than, and games are just getting really expensive now. So like, if a brand new game that comes out, it's like 60, 70 pounds, and it's like, I'm not paying that for one game. No, that's ridiculous. And by comparison to a movie and things, I can get a lot, and I can be entertained. And entertainment's repetitive, rather, you know. So like, I can watch games for years. I mean, movies for years, and it's just crazy. But yeah, it doesn't mean I won't buy games, but I don't buy them at that price. That's just outrageous. You know, game companies are just, you know, some people, again, some people have an addiction to gaming, which I have, but I've controlled. But some people will literally have an addiction to the point where they can't control themselves, and they have to have the newest and greatest thing immediately. And I've controlled that, because that's just getting caught up in the hype of advertisement and trends. So just because something's just released doesn't mean you have to have it day one. It's like, learn that. You're paying over the odds for something day one, when you could just wait and do other things. So I wanted to show something, if anyone's got this far. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, I appreciate things. I preserve. Now, some people just see opportunity to make money, whereas I don't. You know, I do actually have typewriters. I've got 3 typewriters. One that's functional. It was 2 that's functional, but one I don't know. There's a little issue. But that's pretty cool, because they're from one's from the 1917, I think. The other one's from 1930s, and the other one's 1940s or 50s. I can't remember exact dates. So one's an American one, one's a British one, and one's a German one. Pretty cool, isn't it? But that's, like, I like, for me, that's cool. I love that. I haven't got an example here at the moment because I put them away. But there's a couple of things that were handed down to me from my mum. And one is, there's a collection of historical books from England, English history. So you've even got about Romans and all sorts. And I've traced it back, and I think it's 1860 or 1870. To me, that's cool. Like, that's awesome. And my mum still says to me to this day, you could sell them. You could sell them. I don't know what you'd get from them, but you could sell them. I'm like, I don't want to sell them. They were interested to someone else that would want to buy them, but I would like them just as much as that person would. So no, I'm not selling them. If I could have more in the collection, I will. That's what I said. That's how I explained it. I said, if I was wealthy one day, like, if I was wealthy, I would want a whole library of that stuff. You know, that's the stuff that I would want. And I have a little example of it now, and I'm going to hold on to that. I don't care about the money. Now, I'm spiritual, not religious, but I can appreciate things. And I do take pride in things. And I was given this Holy Bible. It's huge. It says the Family Heritage Edition, King's World Bible, King James Version. I don't know what the value of this is, whether it's even valuable or not, but I think it's pretty cool. So it comes in this display. This comes in this storage case, which is pretty old, but it's all falling apart. Let me see if I can just get it out. It's huge. And I'm not selling this either. You know, I don't care about the value of things. It's irrelevant to me. Look at the size of this thing. Holy Bible. Massive. Absolutely massive. Look, it's big. So that's the New Testament, of course, at the front. Where we go? Romans. Well, it's even got pictures. Yeah. So I'm not. I don't sell things like this. I appreciate things. Oh wow, you got even got his crucifixion. Pilate delivering Jesus to the people. I'll be careful because I don't want to bend the pages and things. Crazy. But no, I will preserve this, and that's what I'm like. So like things I collect is preservation too. So, I'm not someone. That's quite sad, really. Oh, you've even got a good one there. The resurrection. I don't want to keep picking up. I'm worried about the pages because they're probably fragile now at this point. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to keep lifting it up because I take um I take real pride in things. So although I'm collecting, it's preservation. Um, and it's never for financial. It's never for financial gains. I don't collect for that. I don't collect for something to be worth something in the future. I collect because it has a bit of I can take pride in it. So even if someone one day think, oh, I really want that, how much would you pay? It's like, mate, if you would pay loads for it, I would pay loads for it. So it's like I'm. So if anyone's thinking of collecting now, like I'm just maybe I'm giving people an idea. If collect, don't wait for things to become extinct and rare. Like it's just silly. I mean, I was surprised myself when I started looking up VHS tapes and realizing how scarce they are. It's like, wait a minute, it's not the price of them; it's how rare they are. It's like something might be £7. You go, well, because you're comparing it to everything else. If you can find bundles for £7, of course that's the baseline now. So then you think of one film and maybe that's £7. You go, oh, it's not worth it. I can get all them. But what means more to you in your collection? A bundle of films or that one special film? And you're better off getting it while you see it because it doesn't mean it will never come up. But you're at the mercy of people who currently hold that in their library. But there's no more being produced. So if you see it available and you recognise it's potentially rare, it's worth just getting it because you might not see it again, or you might have to wait a while before you see it again. I like to say, so the price for me, it's less about the price; it's more how hard it is to find it. So you might find a film that's £7. There might be like 3 copies on Amazon, eBay, and then after that, there might be one that's £30, the one that's £60, and then they might all be in another country. Well, that's up to you if you care what country it is and whether it's compatible. But I prefer to have all the British ones, English. So yeah, it's £7 in comparison to 30 and 60 is not much at all, is it? But again, there's no point collecting something if you're not interested though, because it's just you're just throwing money down the drain all the time, aren't you? So it's yeah, I think you have to want something to mean something. So for instance, my collection of films and stuff, sometimes they come in bundles. So it won't always be things I've specifically chose. But in VHS case, in terms of DVDs and Blu-rays, they're my films. So, or they've been passed down. So like if my mum got rid of a load, she let me have a spare Blu-ray player. So I got 2. I got my own one and then her one and then some old films. So I don't, not all the films of mine. Like if there's only romance ones that are a bit dated or they're a bit offbeat with like Victorian times or something, that's not my choice. Yeah, so I've even got a sealed copy of what's it called? Oh, I can't remember what that film's called now. Oh, I can't remember. But anyway, so I've got a few like that. But for the most part, they're my choices. Yeah, and I do take pride in it. I want to. I've got to sort, and I'm always sorting it out. I'm always rearranging. I'm always presenting them in different ways. I want to do a shelf with just 90s films because I like buddy cop stuff as well, like Lethal Weapon. You've got 48 Hours, with Eddie Murphy. But you've also got Money Train. I love Money Train. That's with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. And you start to realise that, I mean, even Fled was a good one as well with Stephen Baldwin. Can't remember who was in with that now. There's a lot of good films back in the day, and if you look back and think about it, the 90s, late 80s, 90s, there was a lot of that buddy cop things. You don't see that a lot nowadays with the latest films. And I'm starting to appreciate cinema in like a natural setting. I'm getting a bit fed up with CGI. CGI is good, and of course, when it's done right, it looks great. But it's like I just appreciate the fact that people are just acting with things. And it was like literally props and stuff. It's almost like theatre, and I like that. And I think that's getting missed nowadays. I think there's too much CGI. I think I Am Legend is a good example of that, where they went with CGI instead of props, and the color contrast and the lighting and the detail for I don't know the affected, I don't know what you'd call them, but um the ones that were mutated, but they weren't scary. It didn't have that scaredness to it, like fright factor to it. They missed a chance there because they went with the oversaturated CGI thing. Anyway, that's just my take on that personally. So yeah, I'm appreciating some of the older stuff. And again, there's this nostalgic element, isn't there? It's like I'm bringing my childhood back into the future, and I'm sort of deciding to stay there. That's pretty much what it is. I miss the video shops. I miss the video stores. In the UK, we have CEX, which is great because it's where you trade games, consoles. You can do like even computer stuff. So it's like video games, DVDs, Blu-rays, it's things like that. Some tech, and a lot of physical media. And because the price is so cheap, like literally range from £1 for the film, and it can go up a little bit more, but yeah, maybe £8 for the dearest films. A lot of time, that's a rare one or a niche one, but a lot of time it's really between like £1 and £2 a film. And you can come out of a lot of films, and it's a good collection. But it's like back in the day, you'd have paid £3 or £4 just to rent a film for a day or two, and then you have to return it. You have to go through the whole process. Now you're paying a fraction of that, and you get to keep it. So you're renting it effectively. It's in the equivalent of back in the day, but you're keeping it and you're building your collection. And I think that's just brilliant. But what a lot of people are going to find, especially what I found now, is I've sort of maxed out my storage. So I'm having to try and figure ways out because my shelving needs to accommodate CDs as well. And there's some books. I've moved things around a bit, but I'm still running out. And it's like, that's the problem. The shelving needs to accommodate other formats too. And I'm having a real hard time balancing this. But I love owning it. Of course, like the way I set my DVDs up, for instance, I haven't got any really too many behind them. I just push them to the front. I don't really want things hidden behind because you'll never see them again. But anyway, this is completely off topic. Hopefully, it's been of interest to some people, and I just thought I'd share something that I'm quite passionate about, that I enjoy. It occupies my mind. I think personally it keeps me balanced, keeps me centered, keeps me focused, and it is distracting to a degree in a world that gets quite toxic and demoralizing at times. So it gives me my little piece of paradise. That's what I create. I am independent, so it's self-contained, just like myself, So I'm not reliant on subscription services. So if someone, for instance, if a subscription service just goes out of thingy, they just dissolve, or you can't make a payment 1 month or something, things happen, or your internet goes down, all of a sudden you can't watch anything, and all the investment you've had literally only took you from month to month. You've got nothing to show for it. I think that's quite sad. So someone might see me spending money and they might think, well, for the price you've paid for that and that and that and that, we'll pay for my Netflix all year. And it's like, yeah, but I don't have to always pay it. Now, I might always add, but I'm going to be adding films that you won't even get on those services. And there'll be times when I'm not spending money. And the times when I'm not spending money, I've not lost anything. I literally get to enjoy what I have. And that's what I do. So a lot of time I try to find ways to plug the gaps. So if I look and think, I've been buying a lot of romance films because I'm not like this sort of tough guy exterior shit. I like romance films. I like romantic comedies. I like all sorts of genres. So sometimes I might start watching something and think, a bit like if I watched, I love Sleepless in Seattle, Tom Hanks. I love that. A guy that's trying to get over the passing of his wife, and he's just trying to get by raising his son, and it's like I find that quite endearing. I find it quite beautiful. I've been through a breakup myself, and I've been like 8 years single, so I know what it's like. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to disrupt your life for just anyone. It's like you don't even want it. For part of you doesn't even want to even go near it. It's like part yearns for that intimacy, that companionship. But then the other side just doesn't really want anyone destroying your peace. So it's like, what do you do? It's the right opportunity comes, you jump into it, but then it's like you're not chasing anything either. So I can understand that side of things even before I was in this situation, and I think that's quite beautiful. And then all of a sudden, people hear the story, and like the women, and then they flock to it, listen to their radios, and I think it's beautifully romantic. I think, and it's human. But of course, once you watch that, then you go, wait a minute, oh yeah, I remember You've Got Mail, where Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks were together later, like years later, and about bookstores, so they were at odds with each other. but there was this romantic element to it. And it was like really, I remember that, and it was beautiful because it was more modern. That was when the internet was formed and things, you know. So people on laptops now, it was the birth of that new technological age, you know, as it sort of blends with people that didn't have access to that. I think that was great. Which takes you then on to when Harry Met Sally, you know. And then you start going further. I start thinking about like Notting Hill. It goes in a different direction, but similar. Then from Notting Hill, I go, wait a minute, 4 weddings and a funeral. That's awesome. Oh, what about Wedding Date? That was great, where the woman had to hire. Well, she didn't want to go to a wedding on her own, so she decided to hire like an escort to take her to accompany her. But then they fall in love, and that's incredible. Then I started thinking about The Bachelor because we're on weddings now. Bachelor's where the guy gets an inheritance, but he has to be married by a certain date. I don't know if he has to be in love. I think he has to be married. That was the precursor for it. So then all these women eventually, because he puts an ad out or someone puts an ad out, and they're going to do hundreds of thousands or thousands of women just literally chasing him down the street. Is incredible. That was great. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, that could go. If you're going to go there and then you start thinking about other films, then you could go comedy from there, because that was an inheritance thing where they had to do something. That was similar, I think, to Billy Madison. That's a comedy now. It's not romance, but that's where like the films start digressing. You start collecting in one area, then you go collecting in the other, because you go, wait a minute, Billy Madison, yeah, because he had to have been, I think, had to finish high school. He never did high school, so he had to go back to do high school to get his dad's company. And again, you start. That's how your mind goes, you know. You go this, or you might see a film. Like I watched a couple of films. I can't remember what it was now. This is 40 or something? I can't remember. But it's so funny, so funny. A little bit rude at times, but it's so funny, and I love it. And again, that then I've now recently got Knocked Up, which I think is the first one to it. I like Step Brothers. Again, you start going down that path. Now all of a sudden we're getting comedy films. And then I start to notice gaps in the collection. So I might go, I'm not really into horror so much now, but there are some I absolutely enjoyed. Like I used to love I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream. Yeah, that was my era. Yeah, so I've got I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I've got them. I've got Scream free, but I don't know what happened to my original Screams, but I'm going to have to get the whole lot. You can get the box set for $12.99 on Amazon for Scream 1, 2, and 3 on Blu-ray, a box set. And it's only $12.99, but I've decided it's as much as I want that, and it'd be really nice because it's like something that I'm yearning for, but I don't need it. So I'm going to wait for that, like late next year or later in the year. Otherwise you don't stop. You know, if I do that, then I go there. This video collection I've recently just added to that I've got to wait till next week to get now, like for it to arrive. That it was almost impulse, but it wasn't, because I was searching for about a couple of hours. And I was like looking at the odd film, like this film here, this film in that bundle, this film. And then when I saw a bundle with like most of what I was looking at, plus extras, I was like, I'll just get that bundle. That's so much better, rather than keep, getting all these different ones. But yeah, I try to look at my collection and try to find balance. So if I think there's heavily one thing, like I've got a lot of romance at the minute because I went in a phase where I was like, I need to get all of them. There's another one, Raising Helen, I want to get with Kate Hudson. That's on DVD. Message in a Bottle, I want to get DVD. So there's a couple more, but I'm not going near it at the minute, because it's just, if I do that, then I start going, it's a rabbit hole, But like I say, if I notice there's something like there's not many of them, I'll get more. So there's horrors, but I'm not really deeply into horrors anymore. So I don't see me adding to that unless it's something I really want. So like where I said Scream, I'll probably get the Scream collection, and that'll probably be me done with horrors because I don't really watch them anymore. And then I'll start looking around. So sometimes it's a case of upgrade my collection as well from DVD to Blu-ray. If it's something I really, really like, then I want a better quality. But then weirdly enough, I want to upgrade the DVD to Blu-ray. But then if I see a chance to get VHS, I'll grab it. So, for instance, I'm looking at Lethal Weapon. I've got them on DVD, Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4. Got them on DVD. But I'm thinking about getting a Blu-ray box set. But yeah, if I saw that on VHS, I would go mental, because I'd be like, I mean, obviously I could look for it now, but it's just if I saw it in a bundle and I'm looking for something, I'd go, wow, I need that. It's a bit like Jurassic Park as well. You can get the Jurassic Parks. So I've recently upgraded my DVDs to Blu-ray, but if I see Jurassic Park on VHS, then I'm probably going to want to get it, aren't I? And yeah, I'd be more proud of the VHS tape than I will of the higher premium content, because of how nostalgic and rare they are. Like, they won't be available forever. It's impossible, isn't it? It's impossible, because they're not being produced anymore. Anyway, okay, I've got off topic. I haven't really got off topic, have I? I just worry the video's too long. But if anyone's got this far, hopefully they've enjoyed my ramblings really, because I could have gone off further talking about CDs, vinyl, mini disc, cassette, and digital through my iPod. I could go on a whole tangent with that. But in all honesty, as much as I love all that, at this moment in time, I'm just listening through Amazon Music. I'm just listening to streaming at the moment because of the convenience of having it in different rooms. I can just say play and I like my AirPods. Like my AirPods Pro, they've got noise cancelling, so I've got this dongle on my iPod, but it's a little bit cumbersome. It's a bit heavy there, and it's annoying. So this could work as a transmitter or a receiver. So effectively, if I want to wear my AirPods, I can use this dongle with this, and it will place to my AirPods. So it's bringing the old to the new, but then it's so fiddly. It's good at times, but then it's like practicality wise, it's easy to just use your phone, and that's where it's annoying. So you're trying to find ways to make it work at the moment. If I had a more private home, so like my walls are not very thick at home, and I am respectful of neighbours. I don't want to be a nuisance. If I had a bigger home, more space, more noise cancelling to a degree, then I would enjoy my CDs a lot more, my vinyl. I wouldn't feel so like intrusive of other people. Like I don't want noise permeating through my walls and disturbing neighbours, and I worry about that because it's not fair. It's not reasonable. I got other neighbours who are absolute dipshits who've got no respect for anyone, and I'm not like that. So that does hinder me. Like for instance, so if I had a home where I don't have to worry about, well, I wouldn't. I don't have to, but if it didn't worry about it, and you had space, and I would jump on these physical music more. It's because the noise. That's really what it is. So finding ways to make it work. Again, I could probably plug this into my stereo, and there might be a way to do it through the headphones. But by the time I've done all that, I might as well just listen to the freaking thing. So that's why it's getting annoying with that side of things. So rather than go down the path of collecting vinyls, CDs, and tapes at the moment, I've got enough CDs. I'm definitely not buying CDs unless it's someone that I want as a new release. Cassettes I started getting back into, but they're quite expensive. It's getting harder to get. They're harder to get cassettes than I thought. I thought they'd be cheaper to cassette tapes for stereos. Even though I think it was early in the year or last year, I spent £40, I think it was, just to buy the tape deck for my CD player because I really like my one. I had to get the tape deck for it, and it cost me about £40, and I've only bought about 5 tapes since then. But I will buy it because that's what I say. Once I've bought enough of one thing, I'll start looking at again. It's like areas that are empty. So it's not just the genres of movies that are empty. It's like sometimes it's like physical medium. So I'll look and go, I haven't got enough cassette tapes, so I'll start investing there. So so if you're in a relationship, someone else might think it's an absolute nightmare. They don't like all the physical media, but then they're not for me. And I know if it's about compatibility, isn't it? It's like I don't want to force someone to have a lifestyle that I have that they don't like. It's like that's a battle. I find it therapeutic, but I also find it cozy. And I think if someone doesn't appreciate that and they don't find it cozy like I do, then it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it wouldn't work because if I'm not averse to making a closet space and then put shelving in because I've got a cupboard where my stuff is. There's a cupboard. It's got just junk in it. If I took all that, I could probably took all that out and sorted it all out, threw it away. Where I could probably get the shelving in that cupboard. And it would be out of the way, and it wouldn't be that big a hindrance. But I like how cozy it is for me. I like how it's set up. But if I'm talking about like, would you, if it's a relationship, for instance, because I think there's a give and take in relationships. So yeah, if it come to it, and I had to like, I would consider doing that because I think there's a give and take to things. Yeah. Now, ideally, I wouldn't have to do that, but I think sometimes, some things are bigger than things we attach ourselves. Like if you attach yourself to something material at the expense of being happy, like with someone and having a life together, I think that's silly because it's like we shouldn't be that attached to things. Like it's nice to want it and it's nice to make us feel good, but there has to be a balance. But that would depend. I think that would depend on how the conversation goes. If someone's that arrogant or overbearing and they're sort of demanding things without it being respectful, it's like then I'm not interested because I'm prepared to give to a degree, but if you're not budging an inch at all, like and you're just expecting me to just give up everything just because you expect certain things, no, then that's not going to work for me. So that's what I say. Give and take. So it's not out of the realms of possibility that I could just move the collection to a different space. But I will always have this attachment to wanting to preserve pieces of history. And there's always going to be more to collect. But it's always about balancing, because you don't want to just be poor forever. You don't want to just be poor forever because there's a side of you that just keeps hemorrhaging money. So there is that. And I think sometimes there's going to be, I go through periods like that anyway, where I'm not collecting any for bits because I'm either distracted with something else, I'm doing something else, I'm experiencing something else, or I'm just enjoying what I've got. And again, it's only when you've watched something, for instance, it just hits you. You go, wait a minute, that film. Oh, yeah, I need to get that film now. And then you go looking and it opens up a can of worms. And that's the problem. Like the other day, I was like, I'm not going to buy any more films. In myself, I didn't make it public. I only made it public a few days later. But I was in my head, I was like, I'm not buying any more films. And then I watched a romance film with Andrew Garfield. I think he's great. I love him in films. He was the best Spider-Man, in my opinion. Amazing Spider-Man. Loved him. And it was a romantic movie. And I just thought Hacksaw Ridge was great. Hacksaw Ridge. And I've been thinking about like my war films, and I've been playing like Battlefield on PC, video game, online video game. It's just war. It's fun. So I've got that. Plus, I've recently bought Pearl Harbor like a month or so before, and I just thought, I need Hacksaw Ridge though. I really need that in my collection. So I got it on Blu-ray for like £3 and got it delivered while I was away at with my mum. So then when I got home, it's like literally there, and I was like happy. Don't really know where I was going with that, but sometimes there's like holes in my collection, and it's like, I need that one. Anyway, I'm not going to go any further. We've gone for an hour. I don't suppose anyone's got this far, but then I always think that, and I just think, to be honest, I watch content, and it could be an hour long, an hour and a half long, and I just enjoy listening. So if anyone's got this far and they've enjoyed it, that's nice. It'd be nice to find people with similar interests. And it doesn't feel like cumbersome or boring, But yeah, anyway, that's my collection at the moment, but it's ever growing. But then there will be periods where I just stop and enjoy, because you can't just acquire. That's what I think. I think it's a bit mad if you just keep acquiring. You're not taking time to enjoy what you have. I've got a lot of books to read. I've got a lot of films to catch up on. I've got other games to play, and it's like time consuming. And I've also got books to write. So I am managing it. I'm just getting through. At the moment, my priority is get through the Star Wars saga, like the whole lot of them, if I like them enough. So I've done the first trilogy. I liked it. I'm now going to go on to the second trilogy. I don't remember liking it that much, but then hopefully I will like it this time around. Then it'll either be catch up on some of the other movies I haven't been watching, or I still need to read A Court of Mist and Fury, which is part of the ACOTAR series. I've still got that one to finish reading, which I stopped last year, which I need to get back to. I've got a lot of books. And I've also got my own one I'm writing and things. I've got things to be doing. I just think it's all about balance. Everything's balanced. Oh, I do want to start making. This is what I'm going to probably do. I might do it on a Sunday. I might start doing one day a week. Or I might not do it every week, because I don't know if you need to. But I just want to start making a day a week where I watch some VHS tapes. Because I don't want to just keep them on a shelf and I don't use them. I want to be able to experience them, make a nostalgic day. So it'll either be every week on a Sunday or something, or it'll be every 2 weeks, or I just do it on a monthly basis. It doesn't have to be like, I'm happy to preserve them, but I want to enjoy them too. So yeah, I'm going to have nostalgic days because I think it's fun. Or I might just do certain times of the year. So when it's cozy season, like winter, when you just want to huddle in, get a hot chocolate, a hot drink or something, cozy up with a blanket over you, got me lamps on and things. And it's just really, I love my environment. I haven't got the best home. I've made it as cozy as I can. So where I sit and chill out at my desk and my computer, I got my gaming stuff. I'm just chill on my own here, I've made it comfortable. And then like when I'm in the living room, I got a recliner chair. I just sit and chill out, and I'm just like, I'm in my own little bubble, not hurting anyone, just chilling. And that's really what I'm up to. It's like if someone was following me around, it'd be pointless because I'm probably home. I'm just chilling.